to my Make It Monday. I am Lisa Fulford, your creative coach, and I have a couple of Christmas cards for you today. So we will get started with a little bit of some housekeeping things. With today's class, we are going to make a couple of cards here, and it's this one and this one. And I kind of cased them from, this one's from Julie Davison. I saw one on like Pinterest or Instagram or something, and hers was a lot similar to this, but I'm also going to change it up just a bit for today. And then this one here was sort of like another one that she had made, but I stepped it up a bit and made it mine. And so I hope that you like these, but I wanted to give her credit for this information as to where I got my ideas from. And this class could be a free class to you with a $50 purchase. And so you would get 2 of these and 2 of these kits. I will not do any of the stamping. You will need a couple of stamp sets that have Christmas trees in them. And so, and it could be any Christmas trees, but for the ones that I'm doing today, I am using the merriest trees, and then I'm also using the frosted forest with the masking to make this tree, and then the stamping from this one here. And then I also brought in the sophisticated sleigh for this little sentiment here, and this sentiment is for this other card. We're also going to use the Painted Trees 3D embossing folder. So those are the items that you will need to recreate them how I've done them. But I will do everything, the cutting, and I'll even punch the hole out and everything, but I can't do any of the stamping, and I cannot do the embossing because you need to stamp and then do your embossing, so I'll show that. But if you place a $50 order with me, you'll get this kit for free, and you'll get 2 of each one of these, and the host code is up on the screen, and this here right here, this is the website that you go to, and this is the host code that you use. And so if you place an order with me, but you have to place the order for tonight's Make It Monday. Today is November the 4th, 2024, and you have to place it by November the 10th, 2024, by midnight that night, for me to know that this is the card kit that you are wanting. And so my host code is good until November 30th, 2024. This is for US purchases only. I cannot sell to, Canada or other places like that. It can only be for the US, and I'm sorry about that. I'd love to share it with all of you. But yeah, if you place an order with me, CreativeCoachLisa.Stampinup.net, and you use this host code right here, and you place it by midnight November the 10th, then that lets me know that you want this card kit for free for your purchase from me. And if it's $50, you will get a pack of embellishments in with your kit, along with all the pieces that it takes to make these. So I hope you'll like this, and you will place that order, and I will ship those out to you. So we will take this host code off, and I'll try to remember to put it back up on the screen before I close off this video. But let's get started making these cards. So I think I'm going to make this one first, and I'm going to make a little bit of changes, and I will show that here, just what I'm going to change on that. So I'll keep you I'll keep it all together and let you know what changes that I'm actually making. Get that off the side. So this one's been embossed. It's been stamped, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to emboss this piece also after I stamp it. And then here's the inside. So I just I changed the sentiment, I changed the colors. So just a few different changes that I did make because I thought it was really cute, but I already had a green card and I wanted something a little bit different. And this is Pretty Peacock and Lost Lagoon, and it's also very vanilla. So those are some, not really your traditional Christmas cards colors, but I really like this combination. So I'm going to set this right up here. I think you can still see it, but then that way I have room to work. So here is what your kit will look like. You will get your card base and any of your layers and pieces, and it'll be, you know, in your envelope. So we'll set this off to the side for right now. So our Pretty Peacock is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. We also, let's see, we have a piece of Lost Lagoon, and this piece here is, let me see, 5 1/8 by 3 7/8, and then the very vanilla is 5 1/4 by 4. And then for our inside, we have another piece of Lost Lagoon that is also 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. And then this piece of very vanilla is 5 inches by 3 3/4. Now I did this on a Lost Lagoon. I'm going to try it on the Pretty Peacock because I love this color so much. And I have messed with my coloring a little bit on my camera, trying to make it true. And it's maybe showing up a little bit more than more blue than it is the green, but it's pretty close on screen as it is in person. So there's that. And then I also have this, it's about a 1/2 inch piece to do this one here, and I did make it a little bit longer this time. And for the Frosted Forest, we'll die cut that out after we have this finished. So, and I have water here. I do have a pan of water with some warm soapy water in it. A pan with warm soapy water to put my masking in, because if you don't do that, it will dry hard on there. And I've already had an issue with that whenever I was doing it before. And so I really had to scrub to get it off of there. So here are the masks that we're going to use. And then I am bringing out this die. It is this one right here around that detail die, and it's a really nice set of dies to go along with this stamp set. I just think they're really pretty. We've got a lot of details die. We've got the trunk with the branches and different things, and then this outside, and the ones that cut the whole thing out. I'm not going to do the detail ones right now. And then we have this kind of like a snowbank with the trees without any leaves on them. And I'm not certain if you could add the leaves from this die or not to these, but right now we're just going to do the outline. Alrighty, so I don't want to take up a lot of your time. And so let's see, I'm going to grab this strip here. And this is not any stamping. We're going to do embossing with that, or inking. So I'll move this out of the way. And I'm going to bring in a piece of scrap paper and move this over. Get me a block to put that on. that on there. And then I'm going to grab me some tape, Post-it tape. All right, so I've got me a couple pieces of tape here to try to hold my pieces down. And I think we'll do this first to let it be drying. I'll take this, I'm going to tape it down so it does not move. Like that. And then when I do my first mask, I'm going to put a little pencil mark so that I will know. So I've got my Lost Lagoon ink. And I have my pretty peacock ink. Have those out, and I have some blending brushes here. Pretty peacock, Lost Lagoon. So when I put my first mask down, how they work is there is an A right there. So can you see that right there? There's an A. So when we put this down, let's see, I'm going to put it right about there. And then I'm going to put a little pencil mark so that I know where to line them up. All of them. Now there is a little notch here, but it doesn't, if I would have put my tree farther over my cardstock, I could have added, lined it up with that, but this will work as long as I line them up where I can see both of them or all of them. That's fine. So I'm going to hold that in place there. I'm going to grab one more piece of tape. I was planning on tearing one of those in half and forgot, but that's all right. So I'm going to put this down so that maybe it won't move as much. And then I'm going to start with my lighter shade, I do believe. I'll go Lost Lagoon. Just picking some of it up. And then I'm going to hold it down. And then I'm going to add this shading in. And it might shake the camera, and I'm sorry. Try not to shake it too awfully much. Okay, so I'm going to lift this up and look at it, and you can see it there. So I'm going to go ahead and lift this up. Set that off to the side for now. I'll do this one. Whoops. This one, because this one's the B. See that right there? So I'm going to line this up over here where those pencil marks are so that I know I get it nice and lined up. Tape it down as well. I'll do some more Lost Lagoon. Add it over. Okay. I'll lift this up. And you're starting to see a couple different details to it. I'm going to do something with that here shortly. Add this one down. It works a little bit better if you have a dark ink on a light piece, but I'm just trying this to see how I like it. Put that down, and then I'm going to add this dark. So you can kind of see now. It's got, just kind of looks like a little bit of a blob. For whatever reason, it is not doing very good picking up on that camera. There. I think I'm going to try to turn on a little bit few more bites. Just a moment. I can't have them be too bright because it makes it roll. So maybe if I get a little closer. Makes it hard with that dark cardstock. There, maybe. There we go. I had to get far enough back. And so you can kind of see it. And that's okay because I'm going to add something to that. So I'm going to take my chamois. I'm going to clean up B. Okay. Let's see. Actually, I think it's A. Sorry about that. It is. It's A. So I'm going to clean that ink off because I don't want to get that in mixed up with my stuff. All right. And then let me clean this one. Get them nice and cleaned up before I move on. I'm just using my chamois to clean it up, and I'll do a little bit better here in a little bit. All right, so put my chamois away. So we are going to now add something else to this. But before we do, I want to set that and dry it. So I'm gonna grab my heat tool, and this might be a little loud, especially if I'm talking. If I don't talk, you probably won't hear it. I'm just going to set the ink into the cardstock. Okay, so you might can see it a little bit better now because of the difference of because it's drying. So we're going to take A. I'm going to bring in my little spatula, and this is the embossing paste, and it's shimmer white. So I have it in a bag here, and this is what the water is for. Okay, so I used all 3 of them to do the tree. That open. I'll peel this back just a little bit. Scrape some of this out, and this dries pretty quick, so I probably should have already had this ready. Line this up again, those pencil marks, tape it down, and then I have this shimmer paste. It's got sparkles in it, and I'm just going to swipe it across my openings. Get just a little bit more. Like that. All right, so I'm going to put my tool. I'll wipe it off. I should have wiped it back in there, but I'm going to put that in the water. I'm going to peel this up. Let's see, we have that. I'm going to wipe off as much as I can before I just put this right in the water. That helps it so that it won't dry on there, and I can clean it up when I'm finished. Okay, so I've got some on my hands. I'm going to go ahead and get a baby wipe and clean my hands up. You can do it where it's not quite so messy, but I'm a messy crafter, so clean my hands. That way I don't get it everywhere. My hands are sparkly now, though, because this is shimmery, very shimmery. It has some like iridescent to it, like some greens and blues, and different things. That's what I liked about it. So, and then you just put the lid back on, seal it back up. That way it makes it where it stays longer. All right. Now then what I need to do is I need to set this again. So I'm going to take my heat tool. I'm going to try to set this. I'll pick it up so it's not on my table here. I'm just going to try to dry it. I did put it on a little bit thick so that it would raise up. I just love this embossing face. It's very pretty. I don't know if you can see the shimmer to it or not. My lighting is not very good tonight. So I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to set this over to the side so that it can dry a little bit more. So I'm going to move it off the camera. And we're going to work on this stuff here. All right, so I need another piece of paper right here. This one's going to be our inside piece. So I'll put it down. So here's the inside. Just stamping a couple of trees. And I'm doing this in the Pretty Peacock. I'm going to ink up this, it's the details of the tree. So I'll ink this up. Bring this up. I'm going to stamp off the edge here. Pick it up and bring it down and stamp again. So I'm getting two stampings. So there's that. And then this one here, I'm going to go ahead and take my 2 3/8 punch. You can use whatever size. I just decided I wanted the 2 3/8. So I'm going to kind of go a little bit towards the top here, more than the bottom. Just go punch that out. That's what we're left with. Now I'm going to do the stamping, because the reason why I didn't stamp and then punch that out, I can use that circle for another project. So I'm going to ink this up again. Come over here and I'm going to stamp just barely off the edge here. Pick it up. Come down and stamp again. Pick it up again. Come off here to the side and I'm going to stamp. Stamp again. I'm going to ink it up one more time. I'll stamp it kind of there. So I've got some darker trees and some lighter trees. So it's starting to have a little bit of image in the background. Some of it we're going to cover up, and some of it is going to show. But then, I got that cleaned up. We're going to close. I'm going to use that one, but I'm going to close this one for now. I'm going to bring this piece in. Lay that on here. We want to line it up about where we think, how we would glue it down. And then that in the merriest trees, I'm going to take this and wish you a Merry Christmas. I'm going to put that on this block here. We're going to use this Pretty Peacock again. We're going to ink this up. where we have it, where we think we're going to glue it, I'm going to hold that in place, and then I'm going to go through the circle and then stamp. I'll hold that for a moment so it can adhere to my very vanilla. I think I'm off camera just a little bit. Like that. So I just stamped it through the circle. Sorry about being off camera. Keep adjusting it and then it changes where I need to be and then I forget. Just bear with me. I'm doing what I can. So I'll set this off to the side and then I'm going to emboss this with my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So I'll put it this way. Then I'm going to grab my plates. I need one more because I don't have my thick plate. I had a class today. I thought I had grabbed everything out and I had not. So I did forget this piece. So this is plate 1. And then I need the shim that, oh no we don't. Plate 1 and then we need the gray one. That's number 4. That's going to be our sandwich with our embossing folder between those 2 plates. Alright, so we're going to put this in here like this. Just going to try to get where there's some different trees and like that, so you can kind of see what's going to show. So I think I'm going to try to, sorry about that. I'll try to line this up here. The workspace just isn't very big. There. Have it lined up along that little line that says Stampin' Up, and you always put the binding in first. So I'm going to set it here on my, I'll try to get more in camera. Crank that through. And it's actually fairly easy to crank through. Try not to shake the camera. There we go. Move this out of the way. It's not a good crafting session for me, but what I forget something. If I don't forget anything, then, you know, probably not all that great. So here it is. It's stamped and embossed, and that's so pretty. And so it just gives it some texture. Bring this piece in here. We're going to add glue. We're going to start putting our card together. So I'll add it to the corners, but right here, because this is so rough, I'm going to add extra right there. Go around the circle. When it's an embossing folder, especially when it's a 3D embossing folder, I put a little extra on it because I don't want it to come loose, because there's not as much area to adhere to your below layer. Press that down. I like it with a little bit more texture than just being smooth. I did this for a card swap, and then I wanted to share it. All right. And then I'm going to take and add dimensionals to the back of this. Set this over here for now. I'm going to take these two and put them together. I've been trying to make it where the cards go together quicker, so that one, they're not too involved where you may not want to do them. And I'm trying to make them where the videos aren't as long. All right, so let's bring our pieces over. I can get these blending brushes out of the way. Put this back on that 4 1/4 score line. Add some glue to the back of this one. And just glue it on the inside. I like sometimes for the inside to put a little bit of stamping and then also do a little bit of embellishment on the inside. A lot of times I use DSP, but this one here I wanted to, follow with the front, only do it in the reverse and put the Lost Lagoon and then the vanilla. And I've got this little spatula thing. I like to try to make certain it adheres well. There we go. Bring around the front. Pull these backings off. All right, cut them all off. Center this on here, and when you put it in the landscape, you can look at the top and the two sides, and it makes it easier to see and line things up. And I promise you, I did put this on the scoreboard and score it, but for whatever reason, it's just a little bit past, but I'm going to leave that because that doesn't bother me at all. I'd rather it be, even, but I can't change that right now. All right, so that looks pretty in itself, but I'm going to bring this in and see if this is dry. Feels like it is. I just want to make certain because we're going to run it through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine with the die cut. So I'll move these out of the way. Machine in. Right, so I need my die cut, my base plate number 1, shim number 2, and this is my number 3 clear plate, and then I have another one that's number 3, but I have a green one so that when I have classes I can tell them that this is the top plate so that they will not cut it all up. It is getting marked up, but I want to cut this one and not cut all of them because then it leaves marks in your images and stuff. And some of them I don't mind, and then others I do mind. So this one here is just going to have a hint of color in the background where I did the blending. And then it's going to have this snow feature to it. And I'm going to use a piece of the mint tape, post-it tape. I've got both, but this one here I think is the mint tape. Put this on top. And we're going to run this through. It goes fairly easy. It does shake the camera, sorry about that. that out of the way. We'll use that one more time on the next card. I've been trying to use product that you could use for both of them. So the embossing folder you can use for both of them. And then you could use any Christmas tree with either one of these. These are the ones that I'm using. So stick that to there. So isn't that a very beautiful tree? So, and I don't know if you can, it's capturing it on camera or not, but it just sparkles greens and blues, and with that pretty peacock backing, it's so gorgeous. All right, so I need to put dimensionals on the back of this. And then what I did was I doubled mine. I don't know if you can see it, but I put 2 stacks of them. So you don't have to do this part, but I like how it pops it off the card. You could just do one, but a lot of mine I just hand deliver, like in my church and things, and so I try to put a little extra into them for all of them at my church. And a lot of them wonder what they're going to get next. And some of them, I don't think they believe I made them. Isn't it funny how that is? Okay, so I have this piece here, and it's long. It's about a 1/2 inch, and I just cut a piece here. It's just one that when I cut it off, and then I just cut the edge. So I'm going to see where I can sit it. I'm not going to stick this yet. And where I could put this. I think I'll go ahead and leave it long. I think she had made hers longer, but I think I'm going to make it just a little bit shorter. So on this end, I'm going to just trim it down just a smidge. Because this is embossed, I'm going to do glue, and that way it'll hold it better. I'll come up underneath my words. And I'll hold that there for a moment. So I got it fairly straight. That's the wonderful thing about glue. It's a little bit forgiving if you put something on crooked. Everybody says wiggle room. Forgiveness. So then I want to come up here with this, and I want to put this area here where my C is, to just kind of nestle it in there like that. Isn't that pretty? Then I brought in these gems. I do believe they're still available, iridescent foil gems. They might be on a back order. I don't know that for certain, but so I'm going to pick up a large one, put it up here, grab a smaller one, put it right up there, bring this one in, put it down here, big one there, and a smaller one there. So with the light shining off of these iridescent foil gems, and then off of that, isn't that such a pretty card? I think anyone who would receive this would absolutely love it. And then you could put whatever greeting you want on the inside. We wish you a Merry Christmas. Just find it to be gorgeous. Either one of them are very pretty, but I like all this extra little detail, and it doesn't take that much to just run it through an embossing folder and add more detail to it. So with all that texture, and so the trees and different things, so it just adds a little more to it. If you like it, this is, you know, this is very pretty, and it is stepped up a little bit, but then this is stepped up even more. So there you go. There's our card number 1. So if you place an order $50 before tax and shipping with me, with that host code that I put up, then and you do it by midnight on November the 10th, you will get the supplies for 2 of these cards and 2 of the next ones I'm getting ready to do. So that one I'll put up here. This one is the next one that we are going to do. Put it right there because I think you could see it. Move some of my mess off my table here. All right, so this one here, this one's rather fun also. It's got a few bits and pieces to it, but it goes together very quick. And then on the inside, it's fairly simple. So we will get started with that one. So I'll grab this kit. So everything comes out. All right, so we have some mossy meadow here. It is 11 inches by 4 1/4. So fold that. I'm going to go ahead and burnish it. I have some more real estate on my desktop. And then we have Granny Apple Green, and this is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Then we have a little piece of mossy meadow again, and this one is 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. And then we have this piece of basic white, and this basic white is 3 inches by 4 1/4. And the inside piece of basic white is 3 1/2 by 5. And I cut mine that way for a reason. I like it whenever I can get 5 out of my sheet. You cut it at 3 1/2 inches, and then you have a 5-inch piece left. So out of the 5-inch piece, you can get 3, and out of the 3 1/2 inch portrait piece, you can get 2. So you get 5 with a little bit left over that you can do for to make sentiment pieces to put on your cards and things. So this is the inside. Then we have it's some designer series paper from the set of the designer series called Season of Green and Gold, because on the back it has the gold foiling. That's a specialty paper. And then this is the plaid that we're going to use. And then this piece here is 1 1/2 by 4 1/4 for the front. And then this is 3 1/2 inches long by a 1/2 inch wide. Then this piece is just a piece of basic white. And this is what we're going to do stamping on to put our tree onto. Okay, so it'll fit on there. So let's get started with some of our pieces here. So I'm going to take this and got that glittery stuff on there. I'm going to add glue down here at the bottom, just in a line. Start there, go across. And I find it easier when you've got small pieces like this. Instead of trying to put glue on the back of that and then try to put it down, I just put a stripe of glue on my cardstock. And then I lay this down and then slide it into place where I want it. Like that. And press. And then I'm going to take my card base, flip this open. I'm going to add a couple stripes, glue, and place that here on the inside. And when you're watching this here on YouTube, you can stop and start the video as you need. I'll take my granny apple and I'm going to add glue to the back of it. I have green all over my hands from doing this card earlier. So kind of like a rubber con. Got some glue on my fingers now. Add this to the front and just kind of, it's a very small border, not much at all, but enough that you can see it. Go. And I'm going to add this next. I like to do the corners and down through the middle, because as long as the corners are holding, I'm happy. So I'm not going to do right in the middle. I'm going to go just a little bit higher than center. You can put it wherever you want. And the reason why it's a top open fold, so if this happens to, hang over, you can trim it off. So let's see if I got it pretty straight. Looks like I did. All right, so now we can set this off to the side until we get some of our other stuff taken care of. Let's set that over there, and here is our stamping pieces. So I'm going to bring this in. So for the larger piece, we want to stamp that sentiment that comes from that sophisticated sled. So I'm going to do, let's decorate the season with happiness. Things, it's a tree, so I thought, well, decorate, sound kind of cutesy with it, and so I wanted to try that one. So I want to bring in my granny apple and my mossy meadow, but I'm going to use mossy meadow for the sentiment. And my sentiment is not on my block straight, and I know that. And each time I get it just a little bit crooked. So I'm hoping to do better this time. So the reason why we're stamping first and why I can't do the embossing for you is it's hard to stamp with the embossing on there because it depends on what sentiment you're going to use. So let's see if I can get that fairly straight. And then after we do the sentiment, then we can put the trees around where we want for, and that's fairly straight for me. I'm happy with it. I will do just fine with it like that. So clean that off. And we're going to set this off to the side, and we'll do the embossing here in just a moment. So I'm going to grab my pieces from my Merriest Trees. So I need the detailed part of the tree. And I need the solid part of the tree. I have a large block here. Or this one. Turn it sticks, and then I pull this other tree off. The details of this tree. And normally I would do this one first, then do that one, but I find it easier for me if I stamp this one first, because then I can line that one up better. So I'm going to take my mossy meadow, ink this up. This is a fun card to do, and it's fairly easy. Okay, so I want to take this. I want to stay down from the top of it just a little bit. Get close to the bottom and stamp. And then I want to hold that for a moment so that mossy meadow can soak into that white cardstock. And it doesn't look like much right now. Give it a moment. So I ink off. I don't clean as I go, and I end up with all these stamps with ink everywhere, and then I end up dropping them in my lap and things. I want to clean this. It doesn't take that much longer to clean in between. So I'm finished with this ink. Get that out of the way. Then I will, there it is, open my granny apple. This is a solid stamp, all but the little pieces here, the little loops of it underneath each part of the tree. And so you want to really ink it up and see, make certain that it's all ink, because there's sometimes, like right here in the middle, it sometimes does not want to ink. So you just keep going over. Now if you get off on the edge, you want to come back to the center and ink it up again, because it'll put a line in it, I have found. Then I want to bring this up, turn it this way, and so you'll be able to see when it lines up with this. So you want to come up and look at the point and this point, and you want to come up just a little bit, and then the bottom scallops here, you want to match up with that fourth scallop down. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Bring it, tuck it right up underneath there, and then have that point at the top. Let's see if I can pick it all up together and see how it's right on that page, that piece. And peel that off, and that is your tree. It lines up so nicely. All right, so we do have dies to cut these out, but I find it just as easy if I take this and I just fussy cut it really quickly, because it's, I mean, it's a fairly simple image. So just come in, and I try to leave a little bit of a border. It doesn't take that long at all. I don't mind fussy cutting. Sometimes it's quicker than getting out the dies and different things. I do have the dies for this, but I just would rather fussy cut it really quick instead of having to take the time to line it up. And for those people that, you know, they don't have all the dies and the die cutting machines, I like to show some ideas where you can still make the card without having all the supplies. If that makes sense. I have a hard time talking and cutting, so sorry about that. I keep trying to keep how this has white in between the pieces, I keep trying to keep that white border. If you get real close to it, you are more prone to seeing a mistake, or if you get too close, than if you leave a white border, because it tricks the eye. Just a little tidbit there. Some art background and all. Okay, so then right here, I'm going to curve it up. And you won't even really notice that corner. Cut it off. All right, so there's that. So I'm going to sit this over here for now, and then we're going to emboss this. And then we'll put it together and we will be finished. So I hope you're enjoying these. Yes, it's hard to see because my space isn't all that large. Once again, I need plate 1. And if you ever have any question on what your sandwich should be, on our plate number 1, the instructions are there. I have so many customers that have no idea like what kind of a sandwich they're supposed to be using, and it tells right here. And so using the 3D embossing, you want to use plate 4 and plate 1, and then the embossing folder. And so that's what we're doing. So I'm going to this. These out of the way here just a moment. Put them over here. Put this down. There we go. That makes it where you can see it better. All right, so I'm going to take this here, embossing folder, and where my words are, I'm going to line it up on this edge here. And I can go up as far as I want or as far down as I want. I could, if I wanted to, I could even go clear up here like this, but I want it more of the trees. Sorry, I'm off camera again because I've got this. So I'm trying to line this up, and I'm trying to get the words where I'm not running into a tree or what have you. So like if I went over here, the tree would get into it. And if you're okay with that, that's fine. But I want to have this edge over here near this line, kind of like that. I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to run it through. I'm going to put that down there. Grab that number 4, or that number 4. Put that on there. Crank that through. My old table used to be very solid. You could use embossing and everything with it, and it was fine. And it wouldn't shake because it was solid. This one is a glass top table. And it's one of those standing tables. And when you're doing embossing, it tends to shake. When you open this up, sometimes it gets stuck in there. There's that. Now, if you're going to do a class where multiple people are going to be embossing, you want to wipe this off with a paper towel or something, just in case that ink transfers to the embossing folder. So just a tip. All right, so here's what we have. We're going to finish our card. So we're going to take this embossed and stamped onto, and we're going to add glue to the back of it and add it to our Mossy Meadow. So we got Granny Apple Green and Mossy Meadow. And if you want to add a ribbon to this, you can. I didn't think that it needed it. It has a lot of interest going with it, and it's very pretty. Okay, and I'm going to take these embellishments. These here. Take the tree. Add some to it as well. We're putting it on embossed, so I'm putting extra things on there. Get all those backings off. Bring in our card, make sure it's opening correctly. Center that on here. Like that. You take the backings off of this. Tuck that right in there. Oh, and I have some gems to put on there. Oh, just a minute. I dropped those. Go. And these are the adhesive backed sparkle gems, and I love them because I love the black and the gold and silver. So put this up there, and then see how this one's just a little bit plain, but then when you add the gems, it gives it a little extra. And then I've got something else that I'm going to do with this. So I'm going to grab let's see. I think I'll grab a couple larger ones this time. I'm going to put one there. These are the silver ones. I'll put one there. And I want to grab, here is, got one of the large gold ones or champagne colored. I'm going to put it right here. I want a smaller one there. And then one of these larger ones. I think I'll go ahead and tuck it down here like that. Then something else that I like to do is lay this down, and I have, it's alcohol with Winkostella. I don't know, you can see how cloudy it is down here on the bottom. That's Winkostella that has settled. And the alcohol, I just fill it up, put like 5 or 6 drops of Winkostella down in the bottom, and you can kind of see that milky color. And then you fill it up the rest of the way with alcohol, and then you shake it till it all mixes up, and it's still got some down there. And this is a shimmer spritz by using the Winkostella. And like I said, you just unscrew the cap, drop it. I just use the brush tip of it and squeeze it and let it drip from it. And then I fill up the rest of the way with alcohol. And then hold it back a little bit, maybe 10 inches. And you spritz it down. And it makes your colors of your tree more vibrant. Go ahead and put that away. And it darkens up your cardstock, but in person it gives it like diamond glitter on there. Gives it a lot of, I don't know if you can, it's picking it up on, I think right along this darker color you can see the shimmer. The light hits it just right, but the whole thing is that way, so it kind of looks snowy scene. So that is our second card. Put them over here. I'll bring in these others. There we go. So here's the one I did before, and I did it for a swap, and then I wanted to recreate it and use the embossing folder on that back piece. So that embossing folder is used in both of the cards. The 2 stamp sets that I used was Marius Trees and the Frosted Forest. I used the masks for this one. I did use this image here to do my stamping, but then I used the mask for this. And this one here, I scraped it when it was on the mask. I scraped it more, and it kind of like knocked those down, so it's not as raised up. Where this one, I just kind of scraped it on there and then lifted it, and these are more raised up, and it gives it more dimension with that. And then of course I raised it up double with I stacked the dimensionals behind it. So there's that one. So I hope that you love these cards as much as I do. And if you like them, please give my video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And beside where you subscribe, hit that little bell to get notified of my future videos. And below the video there is a link to sign up for my newsletter so that you will get information of specials that are going on and any sales that are happening and any information that I have to put out there about, you know, my classes and different things. So I do hope that you love these and that you'll give them a try. And if you place an order with me for $50 before tax and shipping, you will receive a package of gems and the kit to make 2 of each card. The embossing will not be done. The stamping, of course, will not be done, but you will have all the components to be able to make them as I did. I will cut all the DSP and all the cardstock, and I will put little gems in with it. But if you place that $50 order with me, the gems for this one here, the ones with the gold and the silver, those will probably be the ones that you get unless they are out. And then the iridescent foil gems would probably be put in there because they're about the same price, I do believe. And so that would be a gift from me, the card class and the gems for your purchase with me. And so that host code again, I'll put it right here. That's the host code, and then that's the host code, and then right down here is the website, CreativeCoachLisa.stampinup.net. And I would love to earn your business for to be your demonstrator. And thank you so much for joining me for today's class. And as always, I love to share what I make, and I love what I do. I want to share what I do, and if that inspires you, that makes my heart happy. So thank you so much for joining me, and happy stamping. Bye-bye.